Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. I really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with legendary B-movie writer, director, producer Jim Wynorski. The stories that guy told, and he told it the way it is. Really, he just said how he felt, and we talked Munchie and so much more. And we are so lucky because it wasn't for Jim Wynorski growing up in Long Island, Mr. and Mrs. Wynorski, we would not have Munchie, and we would not have this week's sequel, Munchie Strikes Back, our second Munchie. I wish there was another one. But before I talk about that wild Munchie character, I got to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing?
I'm okay, Doug. But you made me think about something. You made a comment earlier saying that a movie worth watching. I'm going to say it right now. And this is a bold statement, but this might have been one of the top two worst movies I've ever seen.
Wow. So hot take for me. This is better than Munchie.
See, I think Munchie is way better than this one. Way better. And that's saying a lot. I mean, I'm telling you, I had to pause this movie at least 6 times to take a break. Okay. So.
All right. So we have to bring in, I never thought I'd be able to say this in my life because I never knew of Munchie or of that there was another Munchie. But we have an expert. We have a Munchie expert, and he tackled Munchie 1, well, Munchie 2, and that's Nick Spernone. Nick, how you doing, man?
Doug, it's really making me reevaluate our friendship that you would put me through 2 of these movies. I'm doing great though. Other than that, I'm doing really good.
Nick, you really just said what I was going to say to you, because we've had guests that that discuss Death Wish, Karate Kid, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th. I mean, all great movies. You came on for 2 Munchies. So what did you do to Doug that he brought you on only for Munchie?
You're welcome.
Makes me think I wronged him at some point in my life. And I was like, do I owe him money or something? But yeah, this was, I'm like, Batman Returns, you could have got me on for that one. I'm like, oh yes, like one of my favorite movies, but Munchie Strikes Back.
Well, yeah, since Doug and I put it out there, which one was better, this one or the first one?
Ooh. God, they were so rough. I'd have to go. Oh my God.
Well, don't decide now. We'll discuss it, and then you can give your verdict at the end. But no, Nick, I think I trust you enough. Not that like I'm making you watch something bad. I trust you enough to crush it on this movie. I love that Nick emailed me one time on our website, sequelsonly.com. And he emailed me like, hey, you guys should do the John Wick movies. And I was like, dude, sure, we'll do one of those. But first you have to watch this. And I sent him a YouTube link of the trailer to Munchie Strikes Back.
That might be the first and only time I'll ever hear John Wick and Munchie in the same sentence.
I'm going to say right now, this movie might be a war crime. Like it's really, it's really
what's amazing is that this scored like a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's higher, much like almost double than Son of Mask and Caddyshack 2. So this movie is better than those two, which again, as bad as they are, I'd watch those over and over again compared to this one.
Okay.
And I think Catwoman got like a 9%. So it beat Catwoman with Halle Berry. That's insane.
Okay. Let's get into this one so I can try. I feel like I have to, I'm like a defense attorney. I'm like representing Munchie. Howard Hessman as Munchie.
Well, you're taking a losing case, I'll tell you right now.
Well, we'll see.
You asked me what would I choose? I probably would choose the second one just because of Dom DeLuise. Like he really
the one we saw, the one with the original one.
I mean,
yeah.
Right. Munchie.
No, Munchie. Remember the
original, by the way?
Yeah.
No, I was saying I the original is Munchie, right? Munchies.
Yes.
Munchies with the S. Okay, it's plural.
Yes.
And they lobbed the S off for the second one.
But I agree with you. Dom DeLuise is a much better Munchie.
All right. Yeah. You're going to hate me.
Okay.
Howard Hessman. He had some good lines, but let's just talk about it. So we start off and we get a throwback, and I didn't know that. Like when I watched that minute like a few months ago, and I was like, dude, I don't know how this movie starts. I feel like I didn't know what I was watching. But the fact that Gage is in this movie, and the movie starts off at Ronald Reagan High School, and it's just a huge party getting thrown. Where is everyone?
Wait, so I was so confused in that. First of all, I wasn't sure if that was the same Gage or not, but I guess it was. I thought it was a college. I thought he was at a college. It looked like they were like wearing like college letters, and like I had no idea what was going on in that first scene.
I don't think they knew.
And when I saw Gage, I was like taken aback. I was like, oh, he's back for another movie. This is great. And then see him again.
So is this so there's a lot of times in this movie, like the reason I liked Gage, I liked his imagination, those like morbid flashbacks in the first one. I did like that. But throughout this movie, we'll get to a lot of points I'm going to ask you guys. But to start this movie off, is this really happening? Like when he says to him, hey, Gage, did you check the administration building? He's like, yeah, I went in there. There's no one there at all. And then he goes, okay, kid, there's the detonator. And you see this comically sized, like Acme, like Looney Tunes, something that Wile E. Coyote would buy. And he blows up the building.
Well, even before that, it's like rock and roll high school. Like it's like the kids are like doing backflips in the hall and like just destroying the school.
Yeah, I really did not understand what was going on. It really just dove right into it, and really, I mean, and again, before we even get into the movie, can we talk about Munchie? Because what a difference in this Munchie compared to the other one. And difference, what I mean, is much worse. And I don't know how you can get worse than the first Munchie, and they did.
Yeah, I think the puppet was actually it was worse in this one than the last one. Was
this like claymation?
Oh,
no,
so bad.
I don't know if it was that, but one thing that was weird was it was worse in this one. The way he moved, it was like almost like they moved him a little bit and just kept repeating it. But this one, for some reason, had like the ability to move its lips, but then it wasn't even close at all because it actually was weird. The other one, it was just like opening the mouth. This one had like lips that moved.
Well, they also didn't figure out the finger problem because they still can't move his fingers. He still has the same pose like every time, the whole time.
So again, like, and then after they blow up the school, and I said Howard Hessman before, so not a lot of people probably know his name, maybe, but he was from WKRP in Cincinnati and a trillion other things. He was the cop at the end of Clue. He was like the main FBI guy at the end of the movie. But yeah, so like after they blow up the school, then he says, hey, what's next? Let's blow up the DMV. And I'm like, is this real? Because then from there, he just like disappears. So again, he screwed over Gage the whole first movie. So is Gage about to get like arrested for like bombs and like arson? What happened?
I thought he blew up with the building.
He did?
No, Gage blew up with the building. Like they all died.
Oh, I don't think so. Did they?
Well, you don't see them anymore.
But that explosion looked like Michael Bay was directing this movie for a second. I was like, wait a sec. I think 95% of the budget went to that explosion.
Well, and the band that was playing, it looked like they were not like the instruments they were playing did not match anything that was going on with the music itself. It looked so bad. Like they weren't even trying.
The direction was literally just get on stage and just like, don't even worry about strumming or anything. Just jump around, have fun, have a blast.
It's almost like they were just on there doing air like instruments without any music. And then they added music after.
I believe that. They're probably just actors that he knew, kind of like the band in the first one and the band at the dance at the end of the movie. So here is my, I don't know, I have a lot of favorite parts of this movie, but this part was this no, seriously, when this scene came on, like I watched it with my wife and she was like doing schoolwork and I'm looking over, I'm like, what's happening right now? Why are we looking at Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, Cleopatra, Abraham Lincoln, and Colonel Sanders?
Colonel Sanders.
Eating a piece of fried chicken.
See, now this is why I thought they all died, because isn't he kind of like in heaven or whatever that is?
Yeah, I thought that's where he was. Like,
right.
he was at
So
the gates, and Thomas was reading him like his judgment.
Right. So I think everybody died in the explosion.
Can we just talk about Abraham Lincoln for a second?
Oh,
Like,
he looked like a monkey.
He looked like Planet of the Apes.
He looked like Planet of the Apes.
But he was looking at a $5 bill like he was high as a kite. Like he just got done lighting up with John Wilkes Booth in heaven.
But what a weird mix of people to pick, to stand in line up there. Like Colonel Sanders.
Oh my God. Marilyn Monroe, though, she did look. Like Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
She was the only one because everybody else looked nothing like they were supposed to look. I
bet you Jim probably had a good time casting like Marilyn Monroe and Cleopatra.
Elvis literally looked like one of those Elvis impersonators in Vegas that weds people like at one of the chapels. Like he was literally like, he went to Vegas one weekend and was like, you want to be in a movie?
They were probably people that worked behind the scenes to save in a budget. You got the grip guy here. You got the cameraman over here. Just throw him in there, throw a costume on him, and that's it.
So I did a little research on this movie.
Oh,
yeah.
That's why you're the expert.
I am the Munchie expert. And one of the guys was actually one of the band members was actually one of the like music supervisors or something like that.
Oh, Chuck Trudeau.
I have a couple of these throughout the podcast. So just to give you a little heads up.
So the guy who he calls, again, I love movies like this. It feels like they write the script and they put like almost like Mad Libs, like insert hip person here. Because at this part he's like, hey, what are you, Judge Wapner? And it's like, okay, people's court joke for kids. But
there's a lot of them throughout the whole movie.
There is a ton of them, just as like the first one. But how about when he's going over the things that Munchie has done? He says, I didn't write down all of them, but he said, you're responsible for the Hindenburg and you caused Chernobyl. What the hell?
But I can believe that, though. I mean,
I can too.
I mean,
I don't know if you guys saw the HBO series Chernobyl, but I think I saw Munchie in the reactor at some point during the movie. I was like, who is that?
Like, who's that guy that can't move his fingers?
Well, he kind of has the same, like, if you look at his face, his nose, where the color of the black, the way it is, and his hair, he almost looks like Hitler. He has like a Hitler look to him.
No, he does.
He does.
So I mean,
that is rude. Wow. So how'd you like when they chimed in? Like, so obviously they're all in this like heaven kind of place, like purgatory, and the fact that they're all hanging out behind like a rope, like they're going into a club, or they're going up to like the pearly gates. The fact that they ask them as the voices of reason, hey man, little Munchie, I know we did a little bit of things, but why don't you give him a shot? It's not as bad as we used to do. I'm like, dude, fucking Elvis, did you do Chernobyl?
Hold on a second. Was that Elvis or Rodney Dangerfield? You sounded a little like Rodney.
So you no respect at the Heartbreak Hotel.
Was Colonel Sanders a real person?
Yeah.
Or he was?
Yeah.
Okay.
He made delicious chicken.
Yes.
Wait, you know that for a fact he was a real person?
Yeah.
Why would you know that?
Who wouldn't know that?
How would you know that? Commercials. He's only in commercials. Why would you know that he's a real person?
Well, he's not a real colonel. But
so is Ronald McDonald a real person?
Well, yeah. He's like the fourth. He's like the fourth in line now. The one that's in the commercials now.
I think you're thinking of John Wayne Gacy. I think that's.
So then, in order for Munchie to not get sent to whatever the nebulous galaxy, they're like, "Oh, that's the worst star in the galaxy." Which again, where are they in heaven, or do they just send people around the? I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you go back to the movie we did before, he was in a box. Like, so right. What does the box have to do with like heaven? Like, really, this movie doesn't do anything with the first movie. Like, I feel like it's.
Well, it's a trend. Remember Sorority House Massacre 2 had nothing to do with the first one. So it is a trend with these sequels that Jim does.
It just like, it really doesn't explain like why he has to prove himself. Why is he going to heaven? Like, yeah, it doesn't even, like his whole backstory. There's nothing. right?
Right. Like,
Although
he
the
didn't-
first, oh no, there is a backstory though, right? Because he's later on, sort of.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Okay.
but like, did he die? And is that why he's up there, or he's up there just to like? Is it like It's a Wonderful Life, and he has like a chance to like make amends? Like,
I think it's
there's no
that.
like. There's
So
no,
he's
like,
getting
everyone
punished for
else-
blowing up the building?
Yes, that's what he said. He said you're causing all these.
Oh.
And again, if they knew that he did Chernobyl, the Hindenburg, what was the one? Atlantis, all these terrible things, you're gonna
Atlantis.
you're gonna let him be near a kid? Like,
Well,
really?
Not only that, how many chances does he get? I mean, all these things happen at different times, you know,
Yes.
in forever. So why they keep giving him another chance?
And why you why the chance you're gonna give him is with a kid
Every time.
Sounds
time.
very irresponsible.
Yeah, like who is this guy to give this monster to do all these things? Like put him in the hands of this family. It just
Well, the guy that's talking to him kind of looks like a little monster.
the
Is it
the guy
the
in
old
the
guy?
blue robe. Yeah, he looked like a flasher. Like he was gonna be like,
So that might explain
thought-
why he keeps going down to, you know, different things. Yeah.
yes.
I thought he was like a big time actor or something, because the way he was coming across was like he had like gravitas in the way he spoke, like he was like, I don't know, Peter O'Toole or Laurence Olivier or something, but
No, but he was a tool, all right. But so then we get a long credit sequence. Roger Corman presents, and then we see Leslie Ann Down.
Well, first of all,
yeah,
I was waiting for the clacking teeth again. I was like, wait, where are my clacking teeth?
You know what? I almost would have preferred that than what we had, because it.
The
it was
time
like,
warp?
yeah, it looked like it was like it was going on too long. Again, I think the first one went on long too. This might have been longer. These credits.
Everybody got a credit. This one, like the caterers, like somebody baked cookies for the set. Like it was a long title sequence with the same music. The same music
Yep.
as the second one.
yep.
Ooh.
So Leslie Ann Down plays the mom in this movie, wife of former guest Donnie Fauntleroy, and you saw his name again, director of photography, and just the fact that she was in this movie, obviously her husband was working on it, so why not? But she's in Pink Panther Returns. Her credits are just unbelievable. What she was able to do. But one thing, how quick did you catch on that Andrew Stevens was not the same guy from the first movie? Why didn't they do that?
Wait, he wasn't?
No,
It took me half the movie, and I'm like, wait a minute. So he's not.
He looked like him.
no, it's the same
It's the same actor.
Oh, but it's a different character.
Why?
But he's
He
still
looks the
trying to
same.
capture.
He acts the same. He looks the same. Yeah, that made no sense.
He's not injecting animals with cancer in this one, though. He's
But yeah, but that, you know what though? I
that's the
honestly
second-
didn't realize that until like near the end.
Yeah,
right,
the
right.
First one, his name's Elliot, and this one it's
Right.
Shelby.
And that's what he does. He's
Shelby.
trying to inject things with diseases, and I'm like, but this one he's like a CEO of like a organization, and I'm like, he's really still.
I mean,
still
listen,
is creepy.
maybe it's
He
a
still is
budget
creepy.
thing, but like, how about at least like change his personality a little bit? I mean, they
Right.
really, he's the same character, exact same character.
They made him even creepier in this one.
Oh, he's
The sexual
definitely-
harassment in that
Oh,
room.
How
was-
weird was that? The first scene, she
That
walks
was
in and she
very
already
awkward.
knows. She obviously works there for a while. She already knew what he was because she wouldn't even shake his hand. Like when he got really close to her, he's like, "People think because I'm all high up here in my castle that I'm like, what is happening right now?"
Well, he does have a beautiful view at that window.
It's
I mean, the cartoon background that was in that window was ridiculous.
Yeah.
but yeah, the creepy sexual harassment and just oh my god.
So
Oh, God.
it comes up later in the movie, but just for people to know, in this scene, he wants her to go to Mexico City because they're going to open up another office. And he says, well, who's going to head the new accounting department? So again, he's like, he wants to get with her. He's married. He's like, oh, my wife can't make it. But he doesn't understand that. He's basically telling her on the spot, hey, I want you to run this new office in Mexico. Why aren't you like cool with doing this? And hey, find a sitter. He was like, if you really wanted to, you could. Like, fuck this guy. Like,
Yeah.
who does he think he is?
He was pushing hard on that. I mean,
Oh.
yeah.
so hard that he fell.
You know what? Okay, so we got to talk about his fall because
the chair
he falls a few times,
Yes.
but in this one, he falls over a chair. His legs are straight up in the air, but he can't get out. He can't get up.
He's like a turtle.
He really
He's
is like a turtle. Because it happens multiple times that every time he falls, he has a hard time standing up. He can't get out of. It's like he's stuck in a position he falls in.
So then the next scene, when she says no, and then when she goes to her desk, she's talking to her friend, and she gets fired.
Yeah.
God, why didn't she? That's what made no sense. Like Nick said it before. Why didn't she hire a lawyer like right away? This is the movies that were shown to kids that a boss can harass a woman and nothing comes of it. Because that's what I thought it was going to be.
She was in a very depressed state, like throughout the whole movie. So I don't think she was thinking clearly. You know, because I think part of her was even thinking about accepting it because she knew. Well, at this point, I didn't know about the father.
Oh,
you know, I thought the father was, which again, what
you don't find that until
and what a curveball that is. So like,
photo.
But I think that again, so she obviously was desperate. So I think she almost accepted it.
Yeah.
And that's when I noticed that her British accent kind of goes in and out. Like she's kind of like British in one scene and American in the other. And I'm like, wait, so is she trying, like, where's she going with this? But
well, she is British.
I know she is, but in the office with Andrew Stevens, I'm like, oh, okay. And then the next scene, she's talking in a British accent. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from?
Maybe when he doesn't like British people, and she knew that during the interview. So only around him, she speaks, American. And then when she goes out, she could be herself. Maybe.
Oof.
That's
a long way
for that job.
So then right from there, she gets canned. We cut to, dude, I'm telling you, they found the kids that never played baseball.
I mean, they not only never played baseball, I don't think they've ever thrown a ball. I mean, like the best player in the team, when he's pitching the ball, it looked like when most people throw it like the opposite arm. Yeah. That's what it looked like. And even swinging the bat, like the most unathletic kids possible, which I find it amazing because there are a bunch of kids there. You're going to tell me you couldn't find any kid actors that at least could throw a ball? Like it was sad. It was sad.
No, the fact that Brett, when we get to the point, we find out Brett's like the dick when he's up to bat and Chris, Leslie Ann Down, Linda's son in the movie, when he's pitching and the first two pitches are strikes. And I love that the coach is basically Walter Matthau with Coca-Cola instead of beer.
Well, what was with the soda pop?
That's Walter Matthau who had a beer all the time. So he had the soda.
Oh, is that the reference?
This
every scene.
This is totally Bad News Bears. I mean, to a T. To the fat catcher, to the it was totally Bad News Bears.
Even later on at the well, I don't want to get too far ahead, but he's still drinking soda pop in a non-baseball field setting. And I'm like, wait a minute, does this guy have a constant stream of Coca-Cola?
Well, he keeps sending the kid out to get it.
And I just remember I got to say the one line where he says, singles don't win ball games, home runs do. And I'm like, well, sometimes singles do win ball games. I mean, if there's a runner on third.
Well, considering his team is wearing shorts while the other team's wearing like a full baseball uniform, he doesn't know what he's doing. You know where he's from, right? The coach?
No.
Transylvania 65000.
Oh, that's Artie Johnson?
No, it's not Artie Johnson. Artie Johnson wasn't in. We made a mistake. So Artie Johnson I don't think was in Transylvania 65000. This guy was.
Oh, so that's the guy that looked like that.
He's the butler or whatever. That's him. Because I knew I recognized them and I couldn't figure out where. Because Artie Johnson kind of looks like him.
Yeah, they kind of do. Artie Johnson from the first one. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. So, but what's the age? So this is middle school, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The main kid looks way younger than every kid there.
He's a little short for he's a sixth grader.
I mean, not even just short though. He looks younger. I mean, he looks like he could be in like fifth grade when they look like they could be freshmen in high school.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
So like I was saying before, it was like strike the first two pitches that Brett, like the best player, air quotes, his swings are horrible. And then he hits the home run. And one of my favorite lines by the coach was when he says something to the coach, Brett, and he goes, keep your mouth shut. I know where you live. And he just goes to swinging back again.
What does that mean? Like, I mean, for a coach to say it to a kid, like, what does that mean?
I guess if he was drinking like Walter Matthau, you were like, oh, he's gonna beat his ass. But when an adult's just drinking Coca-Cola, no excuses. Creepy. Like, but one thing I have to give to Jim Wynorski, honestly, like how he finds these young actresses that go on to big things. So the girl in this movie, she was on The Secret World of Alex Mack. Like right after this, she was the main friend on that show. Then she went on to girl. Yeah, and then she went on to do like 2 more series. So that's the girl that Chris loves. He has the eyes for in this movie, Jennifer.
The one that's like about 4, feet taller than him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the height discrepancy is very, very obvious.
Did you like their uniforms? Concord?
You mean? Hold on. You mean the only clothes they wore the whole movie except for the dance scene? Because they wore the uniform pretty much the whole movie.
That is true.
He even slept in it and then wore it the next day.
Well, also too, they have a big game against the Hillside Stranglers coming up. So, I mean, they got to get going on that. And I'm like, Hillside Stranglers?
Amazing.
Named after a serial killer? Like, what is going on with this?
But this movie does happen. Like, this is Friday. So they basically save the having to do school shots. So they have a lot of background actors because there's nobody at the baseball games. Really, there's like maybe a few people in the crowds, but really it's a Friday. Saturday is the dance. And then the mom says, if we don't get the mortgage payment we'll talk about that in a little bit, by Sunday. So all this happens in like 3 days, but no, you're right. They're always in it. But I was saying it was Concord Junior High.
Yep.
Concord is Roger Corman's studio, New Concord.
but you know what though? You were right about fans because when they show like certain scenes, there's literally, I think 4 fans standing up next to the dugout.
Yeah.
And that's it. And the mom who's we find out is a single mom at this point doesn't go to the kids' game.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, he has to go home and tell his mom what happens in the games. And I'm like, she doesn't go to her son's baseball.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to need each other. They're both missing the father. You think like she would like be there supporting her son, but no. I mean, the father's not there. Pretty recent. It was what, last year? There was definitely no support for the kid.
Not great, man. So how'd you like the neighbor? So the neighbor is the principal from Munchie, and wow.
Oh, is he? He's the principal, the one that gets all like the food dumped on him.
Yeah. Oh, so it's a principal from Munchie, and just again, if I had a neighbor like that, especially again, he's got to know that the husband died. He comes over like complaining about a sprinkler and his award-winning tulips. What's happening? And
why is he wearing knee pads?
I was gonna say he's wearing cutoff jean shorts, a blue paisley shirt, and knee pads. Well, I'm like, what is he going with?
I looked him up on IMDb. Do you know what his real name is?
Oh no,
Dick
Ace,
something.
Ace. Oh. Wait, Ace Mask. That's his name, Ace Mask.
He looks like an ace, man. He looks like.
But I mean, like, he's wearing like a cowboy shirt, knee pads. Like, what is he? And he's just cutting flowers.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he
hydrangeas.
Maybe double uses those knee pads.
Whoa! What else can he use it for?
Softball. He's a catcher in softball.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this part again, it's a kid's movie. The dog is like yapping, barking at Linda, and when she actually kicks the dog and then it like smirks a little bit, I was like, oh my god.
You see that in movies, but they always turn the camera away and you hear like the dog like squeal. Yes. You see her kick this dog. Yeah. I couldn't, and I don't think they exchanged the dog for like a prop. It looked like the real dog.
Oh, it was.
This dog deserves an award because it got punted. Like the dog got punted by this woman, and I was taken aback. I couldn't believe it. I was like, like you said, they show it.
The dog is like a stunt dog because he also got ran over by a lawnmower. So the dog is definitely got its money's worth.
The dog should be the highest paid actor in this movie.
Well, I got used to it. I think the dog was the best actor in the movie.
So do you think that was in the script or on the spot? Jim Wynorski was like, "Okay, Leslie, I want you to kick the dog," and she's like, "Kick the dog? Yeah, just kick the dog. Give it a little kick." And she didn't know her own strength because who's kicked the dog before? So she was like,
or like I think the pet trainer probably said, "Listen, we got to be delicate with these dogs." So he probably pulled her aside and said, "Listen, he thinks we're going to move the camera away, but you're really going to kick the dog." Like an ad lib kind of thing. And because I mean, it was. I mean, look at that. If you're watching this on YouTube, I mean, you look at that picture. Like she's kicking that dog. There's no missing it.
Fun fact: this inspired the Jerky Boys to do the "You Kicked My Dog."
Is it real?
Oh my God.
That would have been a great story.
That'd be great if they did say that. Yeah, we were watching Munchie Strikes Back and we were like, whoa, this would be great.
Or maybe they were inspired by the Jerky Boys.
Oh, you know what? Maybe. That sounds about right. It sounds like something that could have bled into the script. So then we cut to Chris. He's laying in his bed and he's looking at a picture of his dead dad.
This scene, I was gonna say, this scene looked a little weird.
Yeah,
because it's like the way he was holding it and the way he was laying in bed, it looked like he could have been holding a magazine or it just looked weird.
And the picture that he has too is like his dad's headshot. Like it's not like a nostalgic picture. It's like a picture that his dad took like 2 weeks ago at like I don't know,
like the mall.
I don't know. Yeah.
Like glamour shots in the mall. Hey, you could be a model. Hey, honey, I could be a model. What if that's how he died? He took the glamour shots and then like a wall fell over or a light fell down. And that was the last photo that he ever had. What? What? Oh my gosh.
What a bizarre way to go.
That would be. Lights out.
I'm sure there was some like deleted scenes in how he went too.
Okay, let's not get too far. There's no deleted scenes. They used everything they had for this movie.
Unfortunately, they did not delete any scenes. Okay.
So now it's Munchie time. He's like an orb. He flies in. We see it over the house. When he comes in, I think his first words are, "Hey kid, you got any Fritos?"
I feel like there's a lot of product placement in this movie.
Oh, the whole script.
Yeah.
Like it's Mad Libs. It was like, "Hey, can you get me what's popular?"
Yep.
So how about when he goes, "What's your name?" He goes, "It's too long for you to pronounce, but people call me Munchie. I guess it sticks." Because in the first one, I know he ate in the first one, but he still didn't eat enough to be called Munchie, right?
Wait, that's why they call him Munchie?
I would think so. Like Munchie eating munchies.
What's his long name then?
Oh, we don't know. I don't know.
What a stupid line.
I know.
I mean, like, so now we all have to wonder what his real name is.
Somebody's not sleeping tonight. What the hell is Munchie? Honey, what's wrong? Why aren't you sleeping? I don't want to talk about it. So then the mom comes in, has like a heart to heart saying, "Hey, you need to," and then this is like,
no. She came in mad, right?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, she was sort of having a heart to heart. She was like, "You need to start pulling your weight around here."
That's not a heart to heart. She was pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
The room was trashed.
It was.
What was that kid doing? He wears the same.
He was
thing
laying in
every
bed
day.
staring at his father's headshot. I mean, not for nothing. He's had a lot of clothes on the floor, but he still wore the same clothes. So, like, why are those clothes on the floor?
Unless he only wears like 3 things.
Well, unless all the clothes are dirty and they're on the floor and he had nothing else to wear but the baseball uniform.
Or he's like Superman and he has 7 outfits that are the same. Maybe. But no, so then Munchie goes, I'm here to help you out, kid. I got to help you out so then I can get back to Earth so I don't get sent to Nebulous 42 or whatever. So then the fact that he helps him clean that, this is the funniest part of the whole thing. Not funny, but it's like there's a few parts in this movie that just like continuation. And so when the room's clean, everything gets picked up. And for some reason on set, they must have vacuumed the rug, but we didn't see a vacuum. So when she comes back in, there's like clearly like vacuum marks in the floor. Wouldn't she have been like, Chris, I didn't hear a vacuum. Why does it look vacuum?
Well, in her defense, she's clueless about everything because later on when we talk about the money falling from the sky, she doesn't seem that shocked. So, I mean, all right. So she's clearly clueless about a lot of things. So I don't think a vacuum marks is really going to get her.
Even before that, when he says, "Oh, I can grant you any wish," and he goes, "Can you bring my dead dad back?" And he goes, "Well, some things are a little bit too big." And I'm like,
what a horrible, like that was really the horrible part. Like they had to throw that in there. It was such like a bad, just horrible, like horrible.
Can you bring my dead father back to life? No, son. Not.
I mean, you could have said like bring my father back, but my dead father, like it's so like it makes him way more morbid.
What if his response again? At least his response is sentimental. What if it was the response was like, "Oh, I can bring your dad back, but now you're dead."
Well, there definitely is a different Munchie in this movie, personality wise. He seems way nicer and like more of a a better guide. The first one, he's just a train wreck. I mean, Dom DeLuise made him like such a here. He's like an actual nice Munchie.
He actually, I would say he kind of really helps him. Like in the other movie.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But in the other movie, it wasn't even close. There was like no time. He almost helped him. Like in this one, he helps him every time.
Well, I think in the old one, he was more trying to do things for himself, Munchie, like because he liked the outcomes. Where here, he was literally really trying to help the kid.
He didn't want to go to
it more for like he did it more for like laughs, for like his own self amusement.
Yeah, but you know what though? But at the same time, though, he needs to help him to get back to wherever he needs to go. So he has a purpose. Where the other one, he basically just escaped from a box.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. He's just having the time of his life.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
he just happened to be out of the box, so he didn't care.
But how about the one thing that is common with both Munchies is the way they do their magic. So he goes, "Kid, what do you want?" And he like says this whole like like something processor, blah blah blah, like racing game,
video game system. Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna ask for something complicated." And then he like did like somehow his eyebrows moved a little bit on the puppet. I don't know how, but then he goes, "Just say the magic words, Super Mario Brothers."
Well, first of all, the kid never says a magic word ever. And he keeps saying, "Say the magic word." Yes. But is it pure magic? Because it seems like he just goes to the same mall and takes everything from the mall. So like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know how much magic and how much stealing there's involved.
Weren't you waiting for, I was waiting for, because they did that many times. They said that line like in a little bit when he asked for all the stuff, and he goes, "Well, kid, if you want to show it off to your friends, just take them to the mall." I wanted to see a scene with like some bumbling security guard walking around and I know stuff's disappearing or something, because they kept doing that. I really thought that was I thought that was where the money was gonna come later.
Oh, that would have been too clever for this movie.
Yeah. I don't think the writers thought that far ahead.
But how, again, first time I'm gonna mention it, was this real? When he's playing the video game, he's like, "This is so cool." He's like, "I wish I could really drive a car." And then I know he's like,
"Oh my
say the
God,
magic words." I don't even know what he said, but then they're really driving.
Yeah, he's behind the wheel of like a speed racer car.
Well, it was a dragon car.
Yeah,
for whatever reason. I mean, you know, and I love that the view from this, like when it's like a far view, it's like a little miniature remote control car that was driving around.
But again, another dig thrown in there, a line popular. "Hey kid, you're driving faster than the guys at Domino's."
So far we had what? Domino's, Mario Brothers, we've had Pepsi or whatever. And what was the first thing he had?
Oh, we have Elvis, we have Marilyn Monroe.
But I mean, just so many product placements. It was like ridiculous.
Ronald Reagan.
Well, definitely a few political things later on too.
No, yes. So this scene gets crazy because out of nowhere, I guess, in the video game, an airplane's trying to bomb you, and there's bombs going all around this car, and then Chris like speeds up and the thing explodes. So in my head, I'm like, did somebody just die? Like, what was that? Like a virtual reality that he brought him into, or was that real?
I have that in my notes. I'm like, oh wait, the plane crashes. ... Murder?
I said the same thing. I said the same thing. And
I'm like,
no, go ahead.
Unless it was a drone, someone else is going to be having a dead dad or mom pretty soon because, yeah.
Well, I mean, Munchie does explain that they it wasn't real. They were inside the video game. He does say that later on. But how about the fact when either him or Elliot or whatever his name is are driving, they do the same motion of steering. All they do is go like this. This is the steering, and like the typical steering, and when you right, and the car's going straight.
Yeah. His name's Chris. It's a normal name. It's not anything.
Oh, it's Chris this time? Andrew Stevens? Okay.
No, he meant Chris as. Oh, you're talking about Andrew Stevens?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Who's Elliot? His real name, right?
Well, Elliot's Elliot's the first
Elliot
one.
was,
this movie is named Shelby.
Oh, my
Shelby.
mistake.
Oh, Shelby.
What's the worst name, Elliot or Shelby?
Shelby, I think.
Shelby.
I mean, Elliot's not too great either, but this movie kind of reminds me of Pete's Dragon. Munchie is sort of like Pete's Dragon. He comes to the children and need help. Only the kid can see him. He causes mischief throughout the whole movie. This is Pete's Dragon.
He ripped off Pete's Dragon. Oh my God.
So then the next scene, they're done playing the game. He's sitting in the chairs. He's like, can you get me anything? And then he just rattles off like a million things. They both pass. Oh, and then he calls him Donald Trump.
Yep.
Get Donald Trump.
That reference does not age well. that's
But just again.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say just the in the script, it was like what's popular at the time. And there's just like so many throughout it.
I wonder if those things he mentioned were toys at the time that were out there.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But I got to tell you, this kid is kind of a dick. Like, first of all, he becomes very materialistic. He wants all these things, and then he wants Munchie to return it the next day.
Yeah.
He didn't even look at the things he got. He just wanted everything.
Oh, man, my mom's coming. Can you return all this?
So he only wanted all that stuff for a couple hours.
Yeah. And then to get him away, he goes, okay, let's say the magic words, Reaganomics.
So Munchie has a lot of magic words, right? So there isn't one magic word. It's just whatever he says right before he does it.
Yeah. He's like Harry Potter. There's a specific spell for each kind of thing, There's not like just like Alakazam. It's whatever it is. So then in the next scene, so here's where we have to talk about the outfit. This is why I say that he has more than one of the baseball outfit, because he goes to Munchie. He goes, "Oh, Munchie, I got to shower." I think it was after he said mom's making pancakes, but he said, "I have to shower and then I have to mow the lawn." And then I'm like, all right. And then he's wearing the same outfit.
But why would you shower before you cut the grass?
Of course,
and that's right. And that was
yes.
And when you were saying outfits, I thought you meant Munchie's track outfit that he was wearing for the scene.
He was just like a senior citizen with a full Adidas, like head to toe track. But no, the fact that the mom said he goes to his mom, he goes to Munchie, he goes, "Mom says I have to mow the lawn before the game. I don't know if I'm going to get done in time." It's like, dude, she's pretty horrible. It's a scheduled game at 1:00, and you're going to make your kid mow the lawn and get tired. Like, and I don't think it wasn't a big property.
It wasn't a big, but the lawnmower was bigger than a kid.
Yeah.
So, and clearly he's not too safe because he leaves it running when he goes to talk to Munchie.
Right. And that's as soon as he lets go of the handle, the thing's still going. And I'm like, wait, the lawnmower's still going? It's still like,
wait, lawnmowers turn off. They have like a safety on when
right. When you
have to hold the handle to make it go. So the fact that it was still running when he left it.
He lets go of the handle to go talk to Munchie,
or the special effects department or the sound effects department in editing didn't know how lawnmowers work, so they kept the sound going. because that doesn't make any sense. But then Munchie again, again, this is like his like kind of mistake because he wants to help and then he makes it go on like it's like a Roomba for like the lawn. So he just has this lawnmower just going around just mowing on its own. Like, why does this kid think that this is going to really do anything?
Well, I mean, the kid also cutting the grass. He doesn't cut it in a straight line. He's like zigzagging all over the place. So, I mean, between Munchie and the kid, neither know how to cut the grass.
No. And again, this dog, the dog is having a rough day. It makes a beeline for that dog, and it's.
Well, considering the dog, I see. I thought you would have seen like fur like flying around, after and then like at least cut up a little, like a haircut. But the dog, all he had was like a little dust on him, like he had like black dust on him. That's it.
And then, so the only thing really from that scene, besides that, Chris is talking to Jennifer again. Brett shows up with like his fancy bike, and she hops on. Then they go to the game. So now it's time for the big game against the Hillside Stranglers, managed by Shelby. And I love that it's our buddy, Peter Spellos, was the umpire. That was cool, man.
Did you know that or no, going into the movie?
Yeah, I knew that he was the umpire, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was funny. It was great.
He was funny. Like, he is great at selling it, like with his improv background and the roles that he knows that he's going to be a movie, and he hams it up. And it was just so funny, like with the 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strike, 4 strike. That's
he looks like an umpire. Like his face, he's got that umpire to him.
Yes.
But this whole scene reminds me of Bugs Bunny.
Oh, this whole part. So here's the first line I have. Isn't Shelby supposed to be in Mexico?
Maybe that was a lie.
Maybe it was. But that's
because maybe he just wanted to get her somehow, like maybe he was trying to set her up somewhere. I wouldn't put it past him.
I would not. No, I wouldn't either.
But isn't Shelby's son named Shelby also?
Yeah, I realized that. I was like, wait, why? Oh, he's Shelby Jr. Okay, or the 3rd or 4th or 5th or.
Yeah, but they didn't even say Junior, so they say Shelby. So like, I mean, like your name is bad to begin with. You're gonna give it to your son? Like, are you that bitter?
Yes.
Like, I'm not. Screw it. I'm not going to be the only one named Shelby.
Well, he's a bitter guy.
Would you put it past that dad though? Like,
no, that's true. Well, yeah, but to him, Shelby's probably the coolest name in the world.
It is.
That's true.
So
his middle name is probably Shelby too.
Shelby.
Shelby.
But the fact that he wore a suit like he's friggin' Greg Popovich for like a kid's little league game, like what's he doing after that? Is he doing business stuff? No, I don't think so. What's he doing wearing that at the game?
But the other team had a middle school on their jersey, right?
No, just Hills. It was the Stranglers.
Just the Stranglers.
No, the other team.
Yeah.
Concord
Junior High. Yeah, that makes no sense.
So why are they playing the Stranglers if they're like?
Well, maybe it's just like Hillside High School or Hillside.
So their mascot are the Stranglers.
Yeah,
it's Hillside Stranglers High School. That's.
So that's not bad then. And now, who's going to want to play against the Stranglers?
Nobody.
I wouldn't know.
So then the next part, this is where I alluded to before we started recording, was the lyrics to the song. So we get like a little bit of a montage, but the song is no joke. It is Put Me in Coach by John.
I had that in my notes too. I was like, they couldn't get the rights to that song, and they were like, just make up something.
Dude, the line in it, he says Little League Basin is one of the lines, and another one says grab the bat and swing batter. And I'm like, wait, what? What? The lyrics were like what we were watching. It was like on SNL with Fred Armisen when they would just make up the song like as they go along. That's what it sounded like the whole time.
It's like, you ever see those videos on YouTube? I think they're called
visual
literal videos. Yeah. And they basically sing the song in the tone with the right music, but like talk about what they're seeing. Yeah. That's what the song was.
Exactly.
It was so bad.
And again, all horrible baseball. So many errors. Kids that couldn't even like swing a bat or throw a ball. Just there wasn't one kid that could really swing.
Not throwing the ball, forget about it. And no one moved. Like a ball was hit. They all just stood there and watched. Like it was, and it looked like the game was played in the middle of like the desert. Like there was really nothing around there.
Yeah, and the pitcher's talking trash, and he lets in 8 runs in like 1 inning. I'm like, what are you talking trash for? You just,
Unbelievable. So this is like what's really sad. Like we were talking about, like the Coca-Cola, the fact that he makes Chris go get the Coke, and then, but it does get Munchie. Munchie has an opportunity to just pop out of he's in the towels. Why is there towels in a kid's locker room?
And this is the second time that Munchie is hanging out in the locker room, because in the first movie he was hanging out in the locker room too.
that's right.
Yeah, and think about this. So when they showed the aerial shots of that field, where was
there was no building or anything. Yeah,
there was no school. Where was the school?
I said it. The field's in the middle of nowhere. So ridiculous. So why wasn't Munchie already there? Like, why is he waiting? Like, what if the coach didn't send him to get a Coke?
I don't know. Munchie can pop up anywhere. I don't know why he had to choose there.
He's a peeper. He was in the first movie peeping.
Yeah.
He likes hanging out in boys' locker rooms.
Yeah, there was no locker room near there.
No.
They couldn't find
there was no structure or building. Yeah, it was just barren desert and a baseball field.
No structure. Nothing.
No structures. No. The dugouts.
See, now I'm gonna say Elliot again, but Shelby. So this is where Shelby walks in now, also, right, to go to the bathroom.
Wow.
Now, when he sees Munchie, it almost looks like he recognizes him. The way he saw him, like,
right.
I remember him from the first movie, and because he didn't seem shocked, like what is he? The monster here. He was like he sees what's going on. So like that was weird, because if it's not the same character, he didn't seem that surprised.
So yeah, let's talk about that, because that's what I thought. I'm like, so why? Like, why wasn't it the same guy? Because wouldn't that make sense? Wouldn't it almost be like, oh my God, I get another chance? I never thought in my life that I could see one of these, but now 2?
Right.
So,
or it's the same one. He thinks it's the same, or just, again, he has pretty bad memories and knows what Munchie's capable of. So I thought he would be like, all right, I see what's going on here. The game's gonna be fixed or something like that. We got to because then I got confused when he's like, he's not worried about the little kid. He was worried about the best player on the team, when he just saw Munchie, knowing that he's interfering in the game.
Yeah.
So it was a whole confused thing going on right now.
But did he know? He didn't see Munchie or anything yet.
He did. He was Munchie was talking to the kid in the bed.
No, I know. He sees him in the locker room.
No, I know, but why was he following a kid into the?
No, he wasn't. He was going to the bathroom.
No, he was going to the bathroom. Yeah, he was going to go to the bathroom, and when he sees him, there's like recognition. Like he's like,
correct.
"Oh, you again?"
Right. That's exactly. I agree. That's the image he had when he said that, and that's why I still thought it was the same actor. Like it's the same character.
Yeah.
So
no, I honestly didn't catch it until like around this point too, because then I went on IMDb and I was like looking at both of them. And I was like, dude, why is it not the same guy? So how about when he's talking about like the people that he's helped out in baseball, like with his Munchie hat and his Munchie, which I do love. I'm not gonna lie. And
talking about the reference, the
Babe
reference?
Ruth. Yeah, well, he says Babe.
Oral Hershiser too.
He says Oral Hershiser. Munchie does.
Yeah. At one point, he mentions Oral Hershiser. I'm like, what kid is going to know Oral Hershiser?
Well, the kid didn't know anything that he kept referencing, because he goes, before your time. He said it multiple times throughout the movie.
And he didn't know he's like, Babe Ruth, who's that? And he's like, oh, well, he's one of the, I helped him out, and I helped out a bunch of other people. Because then later he says Joe DiMaggio, like in the next scene. But the fact that in my head, I go, okay, so this guy, Munchie, caused the Hindenburg kind of around the same time that Babe Ruth. So, like, does that cancel out if he helped Babe Ruth?
So does it mean he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame?
Asterisk. There's an asterisk.
an M, a circle around it.
And you tell me,
Munchie.
These kids play baseball. I mean, clearly
no, they don't.
Okay. They attempt to play baseball. What kid who's playing baseball has never heard of Babe Ruth?
Yeah. And he goes, oh, there's a candy bar named after him. Like he name drops the candy bar. So there's another plug.
And to be honest, if he did say Oral Hershiser around that time, he was on the Dodgers, and this movie's clearly in California, so they should know. But again, these kids don't even know what a baseball is.
That is true. They can't even throw a baseball.
Yeah.
Not yet.
So then we talk. So then we talked about Shelby like peeping and almost falling on the bar soap, doing a little bit of gymnastics. So then
that was his physical comedy is something.
You know what?
From
That
between
is
the chair.
100%. I mean, even falling into the garbage can, like his physical comedy is pretty good.
He's eating that
sells
scenery.
it.
Yeah.
So then in the next scene, then we see Shelby hey, this is this creature that can like disappear. So I want you to take out their best player because he's kind of
but that doesn't make sense though. Why is he going after if he saw this creature that can do things, why is he going after the best player on the team?
Yeah, that didn't make sense either. But the fact that he goes, I'm going to put $100 on top of your allowance. And this scene is just so good that
I thought the kid was dead. Because he was laying there and not moving for like the first few times they showed him.
That was absolutely like unbelievable. The fact that kid was the fact that
the kid can even aim it to hit the pitcher right in the chest when he was asked to do that is pretty amazing.
Yeah, any kid
after it traveled around the world.
Well, that's later on.
It did a Superman. Oh, is it?
No, that didn't happen. Yeah, that was Chris's home run. Is the one that goes around the world.
Oh, I thought that's the one that hits him in the chest.
No, this is the one that this gets Chris, on the mound because we got to take out if we take out his best player, they definitely can't win.
Right, and then they put in Rookie of the Year, who's throwing 98-mile-per-hour fastballs.
The Bugs Bunny pitches, the screwball, and
unbelievable. So here here is the clip so that we can talk about it.
Look at that stance.
Like honestly, when the way he collapses onto the ground, it didn't look like that, but he goes, ow.
And there were 5 people behind the fence watching the game.
And the ball was moving so slowly, that someone was right off camera, just like lobbing it like under her hand to hit him like in the chest.
But what a horrible batting stance that kid had. He had a hump.
Yeah. He was aiming straight for the parking lot.
But then we get Chris. Chris gets thrown into the game. We see Munchie behind the hot dog cart. And it happens. The pitch that he throws, the first one that was like going, I think it was the first one was a screwball. And that's when Peter Spellos, like we talked about, like he hams it up. He goes, that was the screwiest screwball I've ever seen.
Well, how bad is this team that the coach is putting in clearly the worst player in the team because he's the one that has to get the coach Coke, the sodas and everything else. That's your replacement pitcher?
Well, from practice, he looked like the other kid because in the practice, it was like Brett and then Chris. So maybe none of the other kids can pitch.
Well, clearly at practice, he looked better than Brett. He seemed to be throwing harder than Brett. So who knows?
Yeah. Brett could have bring it.
How'd you like one part that, come on, it was kind of funny, was when he threw the pitch, the one that was like the 8 strikes, but I like the next kid when the ball was invisible and it was just showing up in the mitt. And I love that Peter Spells had to go, hey kid, you're out. That was pretty funny. And everybody's going nuts. But wouldn't the kids on the team be like, what the hell's happening here?
Well, I don't think the kids really wanted to play. I don't think any of those kids wanted to play at all that day.
No.
Because even the kid, this coach's son said, I don't even like baseball.
So then we get to the part Nick mentioned it, the ball going to the atmosphere. Bases loaded happen. Chris comes up. 2 strikes. They gave us a little, I was sweating a little bit. And then he hits an absolute bomb that just flies out of the atmosphere. And then it comes back in and knocks out Shelby.
And again, he can't get up. He can't get up from it when he gets knocked down.
That's right.
His legs get spread.
He's a turtle. He
is. But listen, Munchie knows what he's doing. It's for a dramatic effect to make it look even better. You got to get the 2 strikes first. Because if he hit a home run right away, it wouldn't have the same effect. Now this is a kids movie, right?
I don't know.
So, well, I think I'm assuming because I don't know what adults besides Doug likes this movie. But obviously the message they're trying to get across here is you cheat to win. Because clearly they cheated and they won.
The other guys were cheating. He was
How are they?
he was giving his kid $100 to hurt someone purposely.
No, he was giving his kid an extra allowance. You get hurt during a game, it doesn't mean anything.
He was hiring a hitman. He basically paid his kid to do some dirty work.
Listen, just because a kid can't field, that's his problem.
So the next scene, Jennifer calls Chris and says, "Hey, Brett, he's doing better, but he can't go to the dance. Would you want to go with me?" Dude, this next part, mind-blowing. Like, really.
Okay, before you even get there, so she was going to the dance with this kid. She liked him. Yeah. Clearly, they had like a little thing going. The kid's in the hospital. You're just going to drop him in 2 seconds and grab the next kid to go to the dance? Like, you're not going to hang out at the hospital with the kid? You don't think he feels bad that he's not going to the dance? Like, it's kind of like
Chris is totally the plan B, but he's so fine with it. He's like, yeah.
No, but for her to do, how crappy is that for her to do?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He just went to the hospital.
He's probably got like a drop lung or something. And yeah, and she's just like, she said, thank you, next.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Brett hitting balls outside the atmosphere and going around the world, 7 times? I don't think so. Screw balls? Colleges are looking for that. But this part, so this kid puts on like a raggedy suit, and then Munchie goes, "Oh, like Cinderella? I can help you out like that." And then he makes the kid. How about for the kid? Jim Wynorski is like, "Okay, kid, can you spin around in circles for a while?" Because when you watch him after like the third spin, he was just like,
he's like, "All right, how long do I got to do this for?" Like, yeah, he looked like he did not want to do that spin. He's so stupid.
Yeah, and then he goes, "Well, Munchie, I don't think I have a giant pumpkin." So then Munchie changes the car, his mom's station wagon, into a limo, and then out of nowhere, when they get to it, there's a white guy in the limo, and he opens his mouth, and it's Munchie.
Well, this is a middle school dance. The kid's wearing a tuxedo.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, but yeah, this is ridiculous. And then they have a limo. They have a bar in the limo that he tells kids eating, drinking, like he's drinking champagne with the girl. Like, this is like almost cringy a little bit.
And I don't know if you noticed when he goes, again, it's weird when he opens his mouth and it doesn't match, and it's Munchie. It's Howard Hessman talking was weird. But every time the girl was like, "Oh, how'd you afford this?" He would like, "Do you want to call France? Do you want to call France right now?" And then Munchie chimes in and he goes, "Why don't you have something from the beverage car?" And the fact that, I don't know if you guys noticed, the cranberry juice that they opened was like already open. It was like halfway. And I'm like, really? Somebody like, they were like, "Hey, we need a drink in this limo. Frank, give me your friggin' drink right now." And then they made them use that.
Oh, the kid's he's like 9. So, I mean, he probably has a difficulty opening up bottles.
He keeps getting younger every time you mention it.
Well, when he goes to the dance, there isn't one kid close to his size.
The blonde is like
right.
Rebecca Lobo. Like, nobody probably gets that reference, but
WNBA, yeah.
How tall she was, it was insane.
They all, even the kids dancing, like there were some kids in there that looked like they could have been in college. Like they were like tall, like ridiculous. So yeah, I think the kid's like 9.
So then we were talking about the band. This is just like the beginning of the movie. The band's the band from Munchie. They're playing the song "Invasion of the Body Snatchers."
Wait, were they the same band that was in the beginning of the movie?
Yeah, I think a couple of the people were, not everyone.
The lead singer definitely was the guy with the flop hair and
that's the guy glasses. From the band. I forget the name of the band, but that's actually him. Yeah.
So they survived the blow up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That explosion was so large and it was so close. Thinking back, everyone died.
It was big. It was a big explosion. I was taken aback. I couldn't believe it. Like I said, I thought Michael Bay was directing for a second because it was a big explosion. I don't know how anyone survived.
So, well, apparently the band survived.
They threw the kids in front of them and ran. So how about? So he's telling the story about the big game. Like, who friggin', like, really, no one went to the game. You think people care at this dance? But he's like telling the story like he did everything.
Well, clearly they care. The girl cared.
Well, we find out that she really didn't care. But the fact that everybody's getting so pissed that he's like, well, Jennifer gets super pissed. She's like, you're talking like we were in a, and it went to his head that quick because it really wasn't to his head in the limo. He was still like kind of dorky trying to impress her. But I guess one person was like, oh, you hit that.
Yeah, but you know what? Think about how he was talking in the limo. Like he had like that like rich kind of snobby, snooty kind of voice when he was talking in there. Think about, Can't Buy Me Love. He was such a loser. And then once he became popular, became a dick, So I think when you're that much of like a nobody and you get fame rather quickly, I'm sure it goes right to your head. You don't know how to control it.
And then the first thing rich people do, they tell people, hey, you want to call friends? So then he's all pissed off. He goes into the locker room again. Is that the same?
And shocker, who's in there with him?
The peeper.
He's always in the locker room.
But when Munchie's in there, so he says, sorry, kid, and then he asks for a wish. And his wish is like kind of bizarre that he wants to hear what people's thoughts are. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty deep for a kid, especially in middle school. You're going to hear some like serious shit. And
you know what? You think about like, it sounds like it would be something that would be really cool, but I think it would be the worst thing in the world. And I think the way they showed that in this movie was pretty cool. I don't like the movie at all. I think no, but I just think, again, for a kid to hear these things, those kids are thinking exactly what they were saying like that, and that's so like, it was interesting to see it that way.
What do you mean the fat catcher when he was like, you're going to take credit for everything? Yeah, like you're the only one on the team. Or the blonde girl that was, I guess, supposed to be like the attractive, like rich girl in the grade when she was like, I don't know what people see in him. I think he's kind of a nerd, but if everybody else is into him, I guess I have to be.
How shallow, man.
She's ready for high school.
Well, she looked like she was in high school.
Yeah. And she definitely looked like that. But again, within 15 minutes being at the dance, she formed that opinion. He hit one home run, and now she's got a. And then the fact that Shelby is at this dance, following a kid and taking photos. And why doesn't Munchie stay as the white limo driver body that he's in? Why did he go back to being Munchie? Because why wasn't he always like that? So he could always be around. I guess it'd be weird if some adult was hanging out with a 4-year-old.
Well, it doesn't stop the Shelby. He keeps hanging out there.
That's what I mean.
And there's no security. So easily any adult can walk in there. I'm surprised the neighbor's not there.
He did go to the party in Munchie as the principal.
Yeah, he was awkward.
Oh, with the secretary.
Yes. Oh, come on. You can tell me that movie wasn't better than this? Like with the secretary talking to him?
That was.
So then I don't know.
I feel like.
Well, don't say what you think yet. Save it till the end. I'm not done with my case. Okay. So right now we're probably like midway, I would think, maybe. So this is where we find out what the crux of this whole movie is. Obviously, we know Munchie's story. He has to help this kid out. But then we find out like what the overall, like, because in the first movie, all he wanted to do was not have his mom date Andrew Stevens. That's all. That was the whole purpose of that movie. Munchie had no purpose, really, because he was found in a box. At least in this movie, they have a purpose, both of them. Because then we find out that Linda, dude, the exposition in this movie is so ridiculous. And there's a joke about that later, which is amazing. But when she goes, me and your father, when we were having you, we just wanted to get this house. So we got the mortgage right away, and we have a huge balloon payment that's due. That's $20,000. I'm like, holy shit.
This is a lot to unload on a 9-year-old.
Yeah. She dumps all this information on him, like just randomly. Like,
she doesn't go to his baseball games to support him, but she's got to load all this stress on a 9-year-old.
And here's what I was talking
money
about.
On a therapist.
So this is nighttime. He's still right because he wasn't asleep yet. The mom said, like, "Oh, you're not asleep yet." If you notice when they sat down, there was light coming in the window. Like they shot this during the day. And it was so bad because you could see the shadow of the window frame.
And then she sits there. Is that where she goes, give me a hug? And he goes, why? And she goes, because I need one.
That was a tender moment to me, Nick.
All right. I mean, I know it's Oscar-worthy stuff we're seeing here, but.
Well, you know what? In all reality, I think she did the most acting in this movie. Like she played like a drama role in this,
Yeah.
if you want to call it. I mean, she did the best acting outside of the dog.
Well, that's what I noticed. Something was up because every one of her close-ups is like
Yes.
Like you could tell the lighting was so good, and I was like, "There's got to be something." And then when she's married to the cinematographer, and I'm like, "That makes so much sense."
No, if you think about it, that is true. Every time she talks, even when she's talking to Andrew Stevens in that first scene, it's like that perfect like medium shot, like the close up. No, that is true. But so the next scene, Jamie, I know you like this scene. I bet you did. When Shelby goes to the museum.
Oh,
what?
Why did he sound like Igor, the guy that worked at the museum? Like he sounded like a yes. The scene is better than some of the other ones.
Yes, okay.
But I mean, he reminded me of Igor. Like he was almost, and then talking to the camera, like the way that it was a weird scene.
I did like. How about his name?
What was his name?
Empty Graves.
Oh yeah.
And then he even says empty graves. Get it? And then he's like, oh.
I did like him as a character. He was just like had like one-liners, and he was just like he was like a goofball.
And he goes,
"Is this where you?"
Yeah. What were you saying, Nick?
Is this where you find out that he tried to buy a dagger to stab his teacher? Yep.
No, he does, but he does buy it. He buys it at the end.
Well,
He bought it at the end.
But the best was when he says, "Oh, I don't know if you remember me. I was here on a field trip when I was a kid," and he goes, "Oh, I do remember you. You were the kid that wanted to get that poison dagger to stab your teacher." And he's like, and he like smirked, and he's like, "You wouldn't sell me that dagger."
But now as an adult, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you see Munchie throughout history. You see the Munchie Sphinx and the Munchie crossing the Delaware.
Yeah, which is kind of the same photos that not Artie Johnson had in the
correct
in the second, right, where you see him. Yeah.
Well, no, it was Artie Johnson last movie, but it's Artie Johnson was in Laughing,
not Transylvania 65000 Artie Johnson.
Are they the same? Do they both have the same name?
Ooh.
That'd be really confusing.
Yes.
But so I do like when he talks to the camera because he's explaining Munchie throughout history. And somehow Shelby knows about it because he like starts talking. He's like, "Hey, who's doing the exposition? You or me?"
Right. He should know about it because he's the same guy in the first movie.
No, I know that does make
this
sense.
This is weird. They got to be the same character. Why they change a name? Maybe he's like witness protection because
that's what
how did he end the first movie? Like what happened to him in the first?
Well, he got arrested. And then Munchie and Artie Johnson stole a commercial airline.
Okay, so maybe he moved to a new town, changed his name,
and built an empire in a year.
Oh, he was rich in the first movie, wasn't he?
He dressed in he was like Hasselhoff in tracksuits and a gold chain in the first one. He looked like a gym teacher.
Listen, you heard about that.
Whoa. You're saying gym teachers don't make money?
Well, they do make money, but not to have their own like tower like that. And have
if you're a gym teacher out there, I'm sorry. I disagree with Doug.
I didn't see one dodgeball in his office in that opening scene. And I don't think a gym teacher is opening a new office with an accounting department.
Maybe the gym teacher is a side gig.
Point. That's a good point.
Oh my god!
I mean, clearly he's into sports. He's the coach of the baseball team,
but he wears a suit. What gym teacher wears a suit?
Well, listen, you don't want to bring your work home. I mean, if you're a masseuse, you want to do massages home. So, he wears a tracksuit all day, and he wants to wear a suit once in a while.
Dress for the job you want, not the job you have. Oh my god! So, how about when he's gonna sell him? He just sells him the poison dagger, right? That's it. Because the bird starts going like, check his limit.
I think the bird had more animatronic movement than Munchie.
The raven making the Edgar Allan Poe references.
Yeah, that was good.
Nevermore.
I don't get what you're saying.
Right. What kid is gonna get that reference?
Edgar Allan Poe fans.
That's a lot of them in sixth grade.
So then just before this scene, or right around the scene, is when Munchie, when Chris told Munchie, like, "Hey, I really need your help. I need $20,000. And then boom, it starts raining.
Wait, is this where Munchie's like in his pajamas?
Yeah, with the sleepy time on him.
And the hat, and the pajama hat. Like, we need to discuss that because you see this a lot in like, I guess, movies and like old timey. Like, what's the point of wearing a hat and pajamas? Wouldn't it fall off when you go to sleep? Right? I mean, like,
maybe your head's warm for a little bit.
And I noticed in this movie too, like he has an actual bed. Like the last movie, he was like sleeping in a sock drawer. This one, he has a full size like twin bed. I'm like, wow, he's moving on up.
I was thinking that earlier because we don't know how the dad died, but I guess I think I knew some kids growing up that had 2 twin beds in their room. Maybe the parents were hoping that they're gonna have another kid one day.
Maybe Munchie somehow got the dad killed. And he has to come back and fix the situation at the house. That's why he sent to this kid's house.
Oh wow!
Or
maybe he was. Oh, maybe he was in the school when he got blown up.
See, he could have been the principal or a teacher at the school, and now he has to go back and help the family that he destroyed.
Wow!
He was early for a parent-teacher conference, and
that's good. What I was thinking was that the reason there was 2 twins beds in there with Linda and the dead dad were. They were a little rocky, so he had to sleep in the kids' room.
I like my theory better.
Well, they can both happen. He can have a rocky relationship. Linda goes, "I'm not going to the parent-teacher conferences. You're a dick," and he's like, "What do you mean? You don't do anything for him." So he goes by himself, blows up.
And that's why she's even more depressed because it was her fault that he went by himself.
Oh my God,
she's got survivors. She's got survivor
Munchie's 3.
Munchie's 3. Survivor skills.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, this is Munchie's 3, right?
This is the third one.
I don't know. How do you label it? The first one's a plural, singular strikes back. So yeah, it is the third one, but really, is it?
It makes it rough.
Yeah. So he finds out that they need the $20,000 sign and over. Boom. It starts raining money. She's out on the lawn with the kid. They're raking up money. The local news is there reporting on this, and everybody's being really kind and not taking the money. Why wouldn't they be? Wouldn't that be like a free for all?
Well, again, she walked out. First of all, not noticing the money. Then she's looking up like it's like she's getting wet like snow, like she's putting her hands up, and then she sees the money come down and does not look surprised.
Yeah.
Like, what did you freak? I mean, besides, then you pick up all the money, but wouldn't you? And even the neighbors don't seem like they're concerned. Like, it's almost like this has happened before.
It's happened before.
The neighbor did get $35 or something.
Something like 35. That, yeah.
Well, he goes, this is mine.
Yeah. And can we say the reporter's name without Hanna-Barbera?
Oh, was it?
That was the reporter's name?
She says, this is Hanna-Barbera signing off. And I was like, Flintstones and Scooby-Doo? Like, oh no, someone's getting sued.
And that was the cop and Jim Wynorski's ex. Well, I don't know if they were like official dating. Tony Naples, who played the cop in Sorority House Massacre 2. The one that was like barely in it that hated the DJ.
He was the cop at the end? He was the cop at the end?
No, she.
Oh, okay.
No, the guy. Okay, so in this scene, they collect all the money. It's in garbage bags. They're getting ready to bring it down to the mortgage office, which I don't know. Would they accept garbage bags of money?
But not only that, how did she know there was $20,000 in there? Because she says, he goes, how much fell? She goes, I don't know, but it's about $20,000.
No, I know. So maybe her husband used to launder money, and she knew one garbage bag full is $5,000, and then there's 4 garbage bags. She would have been short $31 because the neighbor next door. Yeah,
that's true. And were they all? I think they were all singles, right?
They were all singles.
Why wouldn't Monkey? Why wouldn't Munchie? Why wouldn't Munchie make it a lot easier and give it like higher bills?
Yeah, hundos.
Right.
You know.
Yeah,
that would have been a lot of sense, and
it would have been a lot less plastic bags.
It would have been, he could have used a Ziploc bag. So what happens next? The Treasury Department shows up, and that is the guy that plays Jennifer Love Hewitt's dad in Munchie. So it's all the same guys playing different characters.
I thought he looked familiar.
And he's in a ton of stuff. You look at his IMDb, like a ton of stuff.
Wait, you're saying the cop at the end is her father?
Well, he's a Treasury Department.
Yeah, he's a Treasury agent. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Is
It's like a dentist
who's
calling himself a
driving,
doctor.
he's the one who drives Lonnie Anderson, right at the end?
Yep.
Okay.
So he basically drives Lonnie Anderson at the end of the first movie and then drives the mom at the end of this movie.
Yeah, he's a driver.
So he basically does the same scene in both movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then he basically says, like, hey, we have to go downtown. And then Chris goes too. And then the next, they pull off. And then at the same time, Shelby pulls up. He has this crazy look in his eyes. And when he gets out, he has a tire iron in hand. And this scene, really? I don't know.
But Home Alone?
Well, no, Home Alone. So many Home Alone things happen. But when they're in the kitchen, I don't understand what one thing that happens.
There's something I don't understand at the end of the scene, which probably the same thing.
It reminded me a lot of when the principal breaks into Ferris Bueller's house.
Yep.
In Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It had that same kind of like vibe of like, he's like, I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to do it. And he's breaking into the house in like pure daylight in the suburbs.
I just like that Munchie was waiting for him. Like he was waiting. He saw him coming in, and I mean, and he was all set. So yeah.
Yeah, he puts firecrackers in his butt. And what else is he doing?
Well, hold on. It wasn't really in his butt.
Yeah, it was on his like.
I mean, that might have killed him. If he put it in his butt, it might have killed him.
Oh, so much. I can't kill this guy because I'm going to go to Nebulous in 47. I'm just going to put it on the waistband.
Well, if someone's never seen this movie and they're just listening to the podcast, that changes things. Pocket, butt, two different things. Just saying, two different images you're going to have in your head.
I'm trying to sell the movie, okay? I want people to watch it.
I got news for you. You're not selling this movie.
Yeah, you're not selling this. It's off like $5.
You can pay people to watch it, but no one's buying it.
So then we get the marbles and the bowling ball. So you're right. It's like all Home Alone.
Yep.
But how about the fact that Munchie recites, again, this movie came out the same time as Groundhog's Day. He says the same line as Needle Nose Ned. Ooh, that step's like the doozy step. Word for word, he says it. And it's like, how many times can in this movie, like it's just, I don't know, it just bleeds in. I guess if you're watching a movie while you're writing something, they could just all bleed into each other. Maybe.
I don't think they have any, listen, I would love to see the script for this movie. Again, I don't, do you know what the budget was for this movie? At all? I mean, I don't know either. So, I mean, I can't imagine
an old Chevy and an 8-ball Coke.
The mom's car and
yeah.
I think the writers really took that old phrase, good artists borrow, great artists steal. They took it to heart. They were like, let's just steal everything.
Well, I think they were probably betting that anyone who likes Groundhog Day is probably never going to be watching this movie.
That is true. That is smart, actually. But no, the part that I was talking about. So Andrew Stevens, he's in the kitchen. Munchie is somehow cooking cake batter, flies all over Shelby's face. But then somehow he electrocutes himself.
By touching
why is his finger near that? And this is the part that honestly, I know obviously what Munchie is and what he does is crazy.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, but how does he do that? How does he pull a cord in the kitchen? And this is Shelby, not Munchie.
Yeah.
And it causes potatoes to fall.
Well, why is there a cord dropping potatoes? Who has that in the kitchen? Is that like a need? Is it like Pee Wee Herman's kitchen? Is that with the start of a Rube Goldberg machine? Yeah, if I'm going to have something that's going to pull a cord to drop things, I think potatoes would be the last thing I have in there.
Oh, so now you just open Pandora's box. What would you have that's on a cord?
Maybe popcorn. Well, and the only reason I say that is because potatoes are heavy, and if they land on your foot, it's going to hurt.
That is true, but popcorn will dry out. So you're saying you'd have a contraption that has the popcorn popping, and then when you pull it,
yes, there you go.
Okay,
there you go, and it goes right into the bowl.
Oh,
that's pretty good.
It sounds pretty.
Well, okay. So here's my question, because that wasn't what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
So after this whole thing, the potatoes fall, knocks Munchie out. He gets in the bag, plastic bag, garbage bag.
Yeah.
He can't get out. This Munchie is able to teleport everywhere, disappear when he wants to, go in, but somehow a plastic bag is the one thing that he can't get out of.
That
I
is
feel like
true.
it's all part of his plan, though. Like when he gets out, I mean, spoiler alert, he gets out later on. And he goes, hey, how'd you get out of the bag?
He gets out later on because when he's in the bag, the Shelby's holding the bag together with his hands. Like he didn't tie it.
Yeah.
So he probably just threw it in the back seat and forgot that he didn't tie the bag.
That's the same thing in the first one. He's in the car with Shelby and like teleports away, right? Is that what happens in the first one?
I think so.
Elliot, he is Elliot.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But again, so like, why can't he get? It's like is like plastic bags is like kryptonite.
Well, doesn't he say potatoes are his kryptonite? When they fall on him, he goes,
well, he does say
potatoes
that,
my kryptonite.
Oh, he says that.
Yeah, when they fall on him.
Maybe Munchie caused the potato famine in Ireland.
He didn't mention that. He was like Chernobyl and the Hindenburg. But
well, I mean, I'm sure there's a long list. I mean, they had to only pick out some of the big ones.
So I think I saw him in Titanic too.
Oh yeah, they should have said. Oh no, Titanic was in the first movie, right? I feel like that was in one of the drawings that Artie Johnson had.
It was, I think it was.
So then we get again a line that kids will absolutely love when he has him in the bag and he's running out and he goes, "I'm collecting for Jerry's kids."
Jerry's kids. I heard that. I was like, "What kid is gonna get it?" Jerry. Oh.
No kid. So how'd you like the Shelby driving? That was a stock footage from the beginning of the movie, right?
Well, yeah, the exact same footage. This is my favorite scene in the movie.
What?
Because it's almost over. So you knew when they were gonna have the car chase, I knew the movie was almost over, and I'm like, you know what? I'm finally almost free of this.
Oh my gosh. So then
this movie inspired Fast and the Furious. I think like they saw this car chase, they were like, we could probably do a little better than that.
Well, Shelby drives the same way the kid drove. You know, he's the steering wheel. It was just back and forth the whole time. Although he was swerving a lot more than the kid was.
That car was going.
Yeah, no, the driving and the stock footage and just the way the car was bouncing around. But this is a part that, again, wish that we had more about it. So the Treasury Department guy, they get back to the house and they see Shelby like leaving, right? Like right at that time. And then so Chris tells them, the mom, about Munchie. And she says, I tried to tell you about him earlier, but I don't remember that.
Well, he did. When they cleaned the room, I think he mentioned, and she goes, "What's a Munchie?" And then he said it like 2 other times.
Oh yeah,
he didn't mention it like 2 other times.
Took it back, yeah.
Listen, the woman wasn't even in his life or school. He didn't realize how depressed the kid is, or at his baseball games. I don't think she, really paid attention to anything he said.
Yeah. So when he's like telling these people, his mom and this guy they barely met, barely know, like, hey, there's just a creature that's helping me out. When this guy turns and goes, "Oh, Munchie, I had one of those when I was growing up."
When he said that, I was like, "Oh, was he like a kid in like the first of this? Like, was he in there like in the movie?" And I'm like, "No, he wasn't." But
maybe he was the kid in the first movie, and this takes place in the future when he goes back.
But he said his name was Todd, and there was
there's Elliot, there's Shelby. I mean,
That's true. Yeah, he's probably went by a different name.
I just love
it was Evan 2 movies ago.
I just love that he said like Munchie. I knew him when I was a kid, and I'm like, holy sh. So then we get the car chase, like the cops are following behind, and the car flip was like a legit car flip.
Well, as the cops see them flying by, he takes his donut and chucks it in the back seat.
Save for later, you don't want your partner eating it. You put it on the middle part. Fair game.
Yeah, that flip though was pretty crazy.
I was not expecting that. Yeah, for this movie, I wasn't expecting like a real.
Well, they blew up a building in the beginning of the movie.
And after the car does that flip, it's still in pretty good shape. I mean, it still looks pretty drivable.
And then when he's getting arrested, remember he's like crazy. He looks like insane. He's like going towards the cop. And the one cop's like, "Oh, you don't remember me? You sexually harassed my wife." I'm like,
his hair started getting crazier and crazier as towards the end of the movie, like to show how crazy he's started to get.
Yeah. Well, and then he gets electrocuted. That's when it gets really like he sticks his finger in the light socket for the socket.
Very Daniel Sternish.
Yes.
His hair.
Yeah.
I love when he's getting arrested. He says, I'm a member of the NRA, the NAACP. You can't do this. And then this is when Chris is like really like kind of like scared. He's like, oh no, Munchie. And the guy gets really close and he's like, if he's anything like the Munchie that I knew, I'm sure he's okay. And then, dude, the end of this movie is
wait.
Yeah.
Can we say a line that he says though, real quick?
Yeah, do it.
He says, you might even get a stepfather.
Oh yeah, how creepy is that?
That's what I was getting to. That was at the end of the movie. That's what I mean.
But he just met, the woman just met this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He took her downtown for potential counterfeiting charges.
Like a hardcore interview.
This is Pete's Dragon. Pete's Dragon at the end of the movie had to leave when everything was okay to go to the next place. And Munchie is leaving. I'm telling you, it's Pete's Dragon.
But yeah, so he gets home and then the TV turns on and it's like, this is the Munchie show. But the one thing like Nick just mentioned, he goes, hey kid, I think I did enough for you. I gave you 3 things. I got your mom a better job, figure out the mortgage, and a new stepdad. And then the fact that the M. Night Shyamalan twist of the movie was we see it, but we're back in heaven-ish.
Human Munchie.
Oh my God.
It's the dad.
Well, that wasn't Human Munchie. That was the dad.
No, that was Human Munchie, I thought.
No, that was the dad in the glamour shot.
I thought that was the limo driver.
No.
No, that was the dad. That was the dad in the...
It was?
So now this changes the whole movie for you.
Oh, now it's great.
It was the dad.
I swear I thought it was the limo driver. Like he was like looking out for Munchie the whole time. And
no, because that's why the guy said, oh, your choice was right for the family because he was able to help him. And then you didn't see, you saw the back of his head. And then when he turned, you were like, he should have done this at the end.
I don't know. I like mine. I like it better with the limo driver. Who remembers the dead dad? He was only mentioned once.
And then the end of the movie, we have to finish the movie with another topical joke, which again, I did research right after I saw it. When he goes, I have a guy that really needs my help. Bill Clinton.
This was before everything.
That was 95. All that started, the Monica stuff.
And this movie came out in 94?
94.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he was talking about Waco. He was talking about the Waco siege. She's like, oh, after that whole thing, he needs some help. Little did he know he really needed some help out later on.
Well, I think Bill did get help.
Well, maybe Munchie was involved in that. Because that's something Munchie would have done.
Wait, are you saying Munchie turned himself into Monica Lewinsky? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying he might have been involved somehow.
He had the camera in the corner.
Maybe he supplied the cigar.
Yeah.
You know.
He was watching in the bushes from the grassy knoll.
He is a peeper.
All right, so that was Munchie Strikes Back. Oof. We'll go with our guests first. Nick, again, is this an Oscar movie that you tell people to watch? But the most important thing, was it fun to watch? Was there parts of the movie that you're like, you know what? That was fun to make fun of. Because sometimes it's so bad, it's good, right?
What a sell.
Oh, man. It's
wait, before you answer, don't get bullied into it. You have your own, view of what you think. Don't let his bulliness, just persuade you.
Well, considering I thought the second movie was, quote unquote, better than this one, and I wouldn't have recommended the second one. I don't think I could recommend the third one either. Maybe the first one was okay. I don't know, but yeah, it really.
Well, the first one had nothing to do with this guy's not even in the original movie.
Which guy?
No, there's no Elliot.
No, Munchie isn't in.
No, I know, but is Elliot in the first movie?
No, nothing's in the first. Remember, we watched.
Oh, then it must be a great movie then.
Oh man. Okay, Nick.
Yeah, no,
I think you earned a better movie. So now after watching these two, I was gonna put together a fake thing to make it sound like there was a third movie called like Return of the Munchie, but I didn't have time.
You don't have to. By the way, go ahead, Nick.
Oh no, I'm saying so. Like the next movie I'm gonna get is like Godfather 2 or something, right? Like something like really, really good. Or no?
I'm assuming most people in Godfather 2 are probably dead. We could try. I'm not sure what De Niro's doing nowadays, but
Well, I think Pacino looked dead when he was sleeping at the Oscars last week.
I don't think you have to ask me. I think you know my answer.
Yes.
Doug, this, and I'm not kidding when I say this, it was hard to watch. Now I watched it late last night. I literally had to stop it multiple times because I had to like play a game on my phone. I had to get distracted because I couldn't sit there for an hour and a half and watch this movie.
So you said earlier, like one of the worst. What is the worst movie that we've done?
Well, okay. I think there's like, when we say worst, there's like categories, right? Like, so like Terror Tunes. That's a rough movie to watch. But it's so bizarre that you have to watch it. It's like worst movie. This might be there, man. This might be one of the worst ones. No other movie that I had to stop a few times. I had a hard time watching this. I really did.
I would say Son of the Mask for me personally, because I only laughed like 3 times in that movie, and I this is how sad it is. I always remember it, and I always mention it whenever we talk about this. When he turned the nose
100%,
into a nose.
Yeah, but you know what? It did have some kind of joke here and there. Yes, as bad as that is.
Wait, the dog trying to kill a kid, a baby?
That's hysterical.
Super Babies? You're saying Super Babies is better than this?
Again,
John Voight trying to kill kids.
Okay, if you're scraping the bottom of the barrel and you don't have it, you have to pick the lesser of two evils. Yes, I would say I would watch, if I had to watch a movie again, if I had to, I would take Super Babies over this.
Woo!
I would not be able to watch this again. This was rough, and I'm thanking whoever I can thank that there's not another one we can watch.
All right, so. Again, I'm not going to say that this is like the greatest movie, but there's there's not like clips that people have on YouTube, but there are like some funny scenes. Like I love like the empty graves. Like I thought his scene was really funny. So you could watch that one. I thought that was good with the exposition. You said you liked that scene.
What, a 5-second scene for an hour and a half movie? and again, just because I said I'd like it, it's a matter of finding a needle in a haystack in a crappy movie. A couple of scenes that I can say, all right, fine. You know, and yes, the rest is crap. This is like lesser crap.
All right. Well, that was Munchie Strikes Back. And now we go from a movie that Jamie calls a bad movie. And the next sequel that we have it's dubbed the best worst movie. And it's kind of true, really. Like Jamie's never saw it, but there's just something to Troll 2. And this is another sequel that we're going to be doing that has absolutely nothing to do with the original. Troll 2 doesn't have a troll in the movie. It's all goblins. And because that movie was made, I was lucky enough to interview probably the nicest, right? Would you say he's the nicest guy?
Yeah, he's definitely a cool guy, man. He was now, before you even go any further with that, because I want you to explain who it is. What's the difference between a troll and a goblin, or whatever you just said?
Trolls are 3'6". Goblins are shorter than that.
Okay.
And they like coins.
Now, since I didn't see it yet, based on this review of this movie, do you think I'm going to think that movie's worse than this? Better?
I would say, because that movie, Troll 2, when you're watching it, you know what it is. It's a movie that was shot really quick.
I knew what Munchies was going to be. So I think we had the same idea of both movies. So that's not going to be, it just, again, knowing it's a bad movie, but I knew Munchie's going to be a bad movie.
Yeah, but Munchie was made to be a good movie.
This was?
Well, I think when they made it, they wanted, the first movie did well enough that they made a sequel to it. No, this movie was shot by an Italian director, didn't speak English. So and he wanted to shoot it in America, and it's like the whole story behind it. So before,
okay, so the story. Okay, so I get it. So you're going into it, it's a different kind of look into the movie,
and you should watch the documentary right after, I think, or whenever you want to, because it does have some really cool.
So it's like almost like a grizzly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I get it. All right.
So again, the nicest guy ever, George Hardy.
Very.
An Alabama boy, went to Auburn University, a dentist who always loved acting. He was working at a practice in Utah, went out for an audition and landed the role of a lifetime. Michael Waits, he plays the dad in the movie. And man, he loves the role. He embraces everything that has to do with this. And it's really cool when you really watch the documentary after the movie or however, because he's so touched by the people that watch it and love it. And you'll love him. He was a blast to chat with. Again, thanks, Nick. Don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.